Friday, October 25th, 2013. This is Blue Sky's Truth Radio. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. You are in the right place. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Blue Sky's Truth Radio Show with your host, Bauer. What an absolutely gorgeous day to be alive. This is episode 12. On today's show, we'll be learning about fracking. We'll be hearing part 2 of our interview with Jacob Curie-Moreland of Toronto Seed Library. We'll be reading from an article about the devastating radiation flowing out of Fukushima. We've got news from the Organic Consumers Association about the deadly reality that we're not being told about GMOs. And a new documentary is out called The Healing Power of Plants. On episode 11, we talked about the alternatives to the 8 foods the experts won't eat. We heard from Rachel Parent and Jacob Curie-Moreland when Blue Sky's Truth Radio was at the March Against Monsanto version 2 in Toronto. And we had a reading from Mike Rivero's All Wars Are Banker Wars from WhatReallyHappened.com. Great episode. If you haven't heard it yet, you can find it on YouTube, iTunes, or better yet, bstr.ca. All right, on with the show. Wow, October 25th already. Can you believe it? This will be the last weekend of the month, and Halloween will be next Thursday. Please, if you live in an area where you'll be handing out candies this year, try to be health conscious and provide something healthy to eat for the kids. All right, on episode 10, we announced our first ever Grow Together event where we will be growing sprouts in the studio at the same time as you folks at home. Make sure you pick up your sprouts this weekend if you haven't already and you plan on taking part in it. We'll be growing next episode, which will be released on Monday, October 28th. In the studio, we'll be sprouting alfalfa, fenugreek, arugula, garlic chives, broccoli, and crunchy bean mix. We'll have full details about how to sprout them next show. As for now, just go out and pick up everything you need. You need organic sprouts, some mason jars, some screen, whether or not it's cheesecloth or a window screen, and some elastics. We found our sprouts at our local health store and our jars at Canadian Tire. Other department stores will carry them as well. We bought a case of 12. I like to use the biggest jars possible. We tried with the smaller jars at first and it was just too hard. Even though you only use 2 tablespoons of seeds, they sprout like crazy. These things are amazing. All right, make sure you pick up those items this weekend. That's going to be fun and exciting, growing the sprouts together and then learning new and fun ways to eat them. Our new Grow Together event starts next week, so that's pretty exciting. You can always just start sprouting whenever as well if you're not listening to it on the release date. So I'm very excited. Let's grow together. All right, it looks like the show is slowly being pulled into the dark side, and we just may end up having to sign up for a Facebook page. Keep an eye out for that in the future. Rachel Parent did an interview last night on kcaaexpress.com. Thank you very much, Chantalise, for sharing that with me. Man, the audio was horrible, but it was nice to hear her getting the word out in California and working towards GMO labeling. Say no to GMOs. Other truth news, some of you may have noticed the 9/11 billboards were plastered down at Yonge and Dundas in Toronto for the month of September. Very exciting to see. I know a few people that made the trip there specifically just to see the billboards. I know I did. That was powerful to see them up there. Well, in a clever move, Humber College rented the space for October. So if you were interested in seeing the 9/11 billboards and happened to go there in October, instead of seeing a 9/11 Truth advertisement, you're going to see a police recruitment ad by Humber College. Oh my goodness, as if the police state isn't big enough already. I was shocked to see that last night when my friend showed me both pictures. She was there in September and then again in October. A 9/11 ad replaced by a police recruitment ad. Those smart buggers. All right, there's no lack of content for the show here on Blue Sky's Truth Radio, let me tell you that. It's hard to believe, but even living in Toronto, Canada, one of the most free cities in the world, I personally can't help but feel that I'm under constant chemical attack, whether it be from the chemtrails in the air, the fluoride in the water, or the GMOs in my food. Why is it that I feel like I'm under chemical attack, the same effects as if someone living in a war-torn city? That's pretty weird. Who's running this country and allowing it to get so bad? And if that isn't bad enough, we've got some crazy people on the planet doing fracking, okay? I wasn't familiar with fracking. Hydraulic fracturing, or fracking, is the process of drilling and injecting fluid into the ground at a high pressure in order to fracture shale rocks to release natural gas inside of them. There are more than 500,000 active natural gas wells in the United States, and they're in Canada too. This is insane, ladies and gentlemen. There's a quick little site set up to explain the dangers of fracking. I'm going to read from that when we come back from the break. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in and caring about your world honestly. It's been an amazing ride at Blue Skies Truth Radio. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are. We'll see you in a minute. Hey, it's Ryan from Blue Skies Radio. Do you eat food? Do you have a backyard? Do you have a balcony? Do you have a window? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you should be growing food. If you're not growing food, what are you thinking? You might be thinking it's a little bit too difficult. You don't know how to start. Well, give us a call at TorontoWormCompany.com and we'll show you how anyone can grow anywhere. 416-839-4769. It's your right to grow. I wasn't eating enough fruits or vegetables, that's why I turned to Beyond Tangy Tangerine. It's a unique multivitamin mineral complex in powdered form, a natural antioxidant that packs a whopping 115 fruits and vegetables within it to support optimal health and a healthy immune, cardiovascular, and digestive system. Give us a call today at 416-839-4769. That's 416-839-GROW. And we're back, taking a look at Toronto's weather. Friday morning, variable cloudiness, 2 degrees. Friday afternoon, variable cloudiness, 9 degrees. Friday evening, variable cloudiness, 6 degrees. Wow, feels like wintertime. Well, if you let the sun out, it might be a little bit warmer. They're calling for a cloud cover of 5,600 feet, and sunrise this morning at 7:45, sun setting at 6:18. Wow, dinner time, sunsets. Well, wintertime is coming, ladies and gentlemen, and if you listen to the Farmer's Almanac, this year is going to be an extremely cold one. Please make sure you take the proper steps to ensure that you're bundled up while you're outside. We want to stay as comfortable as possible and stay out as long as we can. I really enjoy rollerblading in this time of year. Such beautiful scenery. We'll be ice skating before you know it, and then ice fishing, so get ready now. Gloves, hats, scarves, sweaters, and your winter jacket. Whatever you need. Halloween is in 7 days. Wow, before the break, we were talking about hydraulic fracturing, also known as fracking. Thank you very much, Yannick, for the referral to the show. All right, so I'm going to show you the website now. It's called www.dangersoffracking.com, and they're talking about what goes in and out of hydraulic fracturing. Dive down. So what is it? Hydraulic fracturing, or fracking, is the process of drilling and injecting fluid into the ground at a high pressure in order to fracture shale rocks to release natural gas inside. There are more than 500,000 active natural gas wells in the United States right now. So to the site, each gas well requires an average of 400 tank trucks to carry water and supplies to and from the site. Heavy load. It takes 1 to 8 million gallons of water to complete each fracturing job. That's insane. Fracturing site. The water brought in is mixed with sand and chemicals to create a fracking fluid. Approximately 40,000 gallons of chemicals are used per fracturing. The fracking fluid. Up to 600 chemicals are used in fracking fluid, including known carcinogens and toxins such as lead, uranium, mercury, ethylene glycol, radium, methanol, hydrochloric acid, and formaldehyde, just to name a few. That sounds pretty dangerous. Down 10,000 feet, the fracking fluid is then pressure injected into the ground through a drilled pipeline. Okay, the math. 500,000 active gas wells in the United States at 8 million gallons of water per fracking. At 18 times a well can be fracked equals 72 trillion gallons of water and 360 billion gallons of chemicals that are needed to run our current gas wells. Shale fracturing. The mixture reaches the end of the well where the high pressure causes the nearby shale rock to crack, creating fissures where natural gas flows into the well. Gravity. Contamination. During this process, methane gas and toxic chemicals leach out from the system and contaminate nearby groundwater. Methane concentrations are 17 times higher in drinking water wells near fracturing sites than in normal wells. Drinking water. Contaminated well water is used for drinking water for nearby cities and towns. There have been over 1,000 documented cases of water contamination next to areas of gas drilling, as well as cases of sensory, respiratory, and neurological damage due to ingested contaminated water. Left behind. Only 30 to 50% of the fracturing fluid is recovered. The rest of the toxic fluid is left in the ground and is not biodegradable. The waste fluid is left in open air pits to evaporate, releasing harmful VOCs, volatile organic compounds, into the atmosphere, creating contaminated air, acid rain, and ground-level ozone. In the end, hydraulic fracking produces approximately 300,000 barrels of natural gas a day, but at the price of numerous environmental, safety, and health hazards. Is it worth it? Don't think it is worth it? Help support the FRAC Act, Fracturing Responsibility and Awareness of Chemicals Act, which would require the energy industry to disclose all chemicals used in fracturing fluid, as well as repeal fracking's exemption from the Safe Drinking Water Act. Contact your local officials, join or support your local ACT organization, courtesy of gaslandthemovie.com. And there's links here to Twitter and Facebook. My cat is going crazy in the studio. I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Come here, Parsley. What are you doing, baby? Say hi to the folks at home. Hi, Parsley. And now it's time for our quote of the day. This quote brought to you by Toronto Worm Company, where anyone can grow anywhere. 416-839-4769. Nobody can go back and start a new beginning, but anyone can start today and make a new ending. Maria Robinson. That quote brought to you by Toronto Worm Company, where anyone can grow anywhere. 416-839-4769. That's 416-839-GROW. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the world is our oyster and we can do whatever we want. Now, we can't go back and stop the fact that they're already fracking and the fact that they're genetically modifying our foods, but we can start to stop it right now. We can stop buying it. We vote with our dollars. We can actually start investing in alternative energies, looking into the sun, into the wind. We can stop supporting the destruction of our planet. It's happening all over and in our names, ladies and gentlemen. We are paying for the guns, for the chemtrail planes, for the weapons. I just heard Canada was investing in more war weapons to help fight in Syria. This is pretty scary stuff, ladies and gentlemen, especially when schools are being shut down. Part 2 with Jacob when we get back. Have you ever wanted to fly? The very first time I saw my father fly by with his rollerblades, I knew that was something I wanted to do. 25 years later, I'm a trained professional. Hi, I'm Ryan from TorontoWormCompany.com, and I'm here to let you know that rollerblading is the best feeling I've ever had in my life. Take it from me, I've been skydiving, I've been go-karting, I've even gone swimming with sharks, but nothing compares to that feeling I get when I rollerblade. The wind blowing in your hair, people are smiling at you, they all want to do it. You can see it in their eyes, they just want to grab some skates and skate with you. Well, now's your chance, world. Give me a call at 416-839-4769 and you can learn to fly. You are now listening to Toronto's trippiest radio station. This is Blue Skies Radio, where we get together, share some laughs, tell some truth stories, and watch the chemtrails fly. Tune in Monday through Friday. And we're back. Blue Skies Truth Radio. Please do me a favor, share this on your Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whatever you got. Let everyone know episode 12 is now out. Last week we were listening to Jacob from Toronto Seed Library when we were speaking with him at the March Against Monsanto version 2. I wanted to start the rest of that interview now. Who should be growing food, Jacob?
Everybody, especially young people, though. We have the most to gain and the most to learn, and most to lose by not participating in our own empowerment, and the systems that sustain life as we know it, our own lives included in that.
Growing is very empowering. I definitely agree with that. I recently read that a lot of seeds that are sold at the big box stores like Home Depot, they actually have neonicotinoids in the seeds.
Really?
Did you hear about that?
No, I haven't heard about that yet, but I know that a lot of the seeds that are in these big box stores by these larger seed companies are being sourced from global seed farms. And in addition to the environmental impacts, you got to think about the social impacts, like the people who are working to produce these hybrid varieties of seeds that wouldn't otherwise be occurring in nature. I mean, people are out there literally two different plants, bring them together. It's very labor intensive. It's a lot of work. These people are being underpaid. A lot of them working very poor conditions. And so there's so many things to be concerned about, which is why we just have to grow our own and support the people that are doing it right locally.
I've seen a huge change in the construction of a city. There's no more farms anymore, and where's all the food coming from?
Well, most of the food that we eat is imported, right? I mean, Canada is a net exporter of food, but most of the food we're exporting are grains, cereal crops. And these are grown largely using industrial methods, using genetically modified seeds. And so we need to rapidly increase the local production of fruits and vegetables. And we can do that in our cities on rooftops and balconies, on vacant urban spaces. Anywhere that gets sunlight, that has access to water, we can grow food. We can be building our own soil by nutrient cycling. Instead of diverting our waste, we really have to cycle it back into the system. We can also use a lot of the peri-urban areas, so the suburban areas around our cities, where there's still a lot of land. Toronto's built on some of the prime agricultural lands in the whole country, on the whole planet. Like, we're sitting on top of a gold, black gold. And so we have to work on reforming zoning laws, and we have to work on reclaiming the land back from developers who have bought up all the prime farmland around the area, who are hoping to make a buck off developing it. And so we need to really make a stand and say, no, we're protecting this land to grow the food to feed our cities. And we need to support young people, and we got to create outlets for them to get back to the land. Because once people are on the land, they're going to defend the land.
That's an excellent point. For the folks at home who don't grow because they're a little bit worried, they think it's a little bit too difficult and they don't really know where to start, give us a few easy to grow varieties that people can try at home, whether or not in windowsills, backyards, or even in the kitchen.
Yeah, well, if you're going to grow indoors, on your windowsill, and you might have limited light, I recommend greens, cool weather greens, lettuce, spinach, arugula, these kinds of things. They grow quick, as opposed to fruiting plants like a squash or something that's going to take 3 or 4 months, and it's going to take up all kinds of space and needs a lot of sun and a lot of energy. You can grow a lot of microgreens inside. You can do sprouts. I've seen people grow tomatoes, all kinds of herbs. Herbs are really valuable in the kitchen as well, and you can grow that right on your balcony or your windowsill, and you can spice up whatever you're making then.
That's so amazing. There's nothing like walking to the windowsill and grabbing some fresh herbs for dinner.
Yeah. Some nice basil or parsley or thyme or oregano.
You're making me hungry right now. So what about sprouts? Where's the best option for people to buy sprouts as we wrap up this interview?
I don't know anything about sprouts. I'm not a sprout man.
Yeah.
I know that there are people who are working in the city on their own little sprouting businesses. But I haven't gotten into that one yet. It's such a big, a big food system. There's so many things to learn. And
Jacob, you're amazing. It really is. So listen, on the way out, what can people do in order to support Toronto Seed?
Toronto Seed Library. Well, check out our website, torontoseedlibrary.org. You can find us on Facebook, Toronto Seed Library, our Twitter, Free Seeds TO, and come out to some of our events. You can start a seed library, a branch of the Toronto Seed Library in your neighborhood. Talk to your public library, talk to your school, your community center. Talk with the friends and family, the people around you, and come and check out some seeds. We've got tons of seeds that people have donated. We've got more than we can grow, and so we really need people in the community to start growing them and getting them in circulation. And then once you have some seeds, bring them back to the library.
So they just walk to the library, they pick up these free seeds, go home, grow them.
Yeah.
Get seeds from there, maybe bring them back and share them back.
Totally.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Jacob, thank you very much for all your help. This has been Blue Skies Truth Radio with Jacob.
Peace and solidarity.
Solidarity, Jacob, we love you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jacob, for speaking with us. Everyone, please support Toronto Seed Library at your local library if you go there. And if it's not there, support it by starting one. That'd be a great idea. All right, more organic news. Organic Consumers Association sent me an email quietly into the night, not Monsanto. The average American eats more than 150 pounds of genetically engineered food every year, despite the fact that scientists agree that GE foods are ruining our health and our environment. In an interview with Mercola.com, OCA's Ronnie Cummins explains why we must marshal every last resource to win the GMO labeling battle in Washington state on November 5th. Once we win, we can do what we can to continue the fight against Monsanto. All right, so take a look at that, please. Very important ballot coming up November 5th. Simon asked me if I could bring dangers from the sky to the show. Fukushima, a global threat that requires a global response. The story of Fukushima should be on the front pages of every newspaper. Instead, it's rarely mentioned. The problems at Fukushima are unprecedented in human experience and involve high risk of radiation events larger than anything the global community has ever experienced. Wow, we're in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta start at home. Make sure you grab your sprouts so you can start growing with us next week. Ladies and gentlemen, we love you at Blue Skies Truth Radio. We love you.
I love that Blue Skies Radio. Dig it.
Apple just released Mavericks.